Gregory, and welcome to my channel, Perpetual Learning, where we are continuously learning. And today I'm so honored to have my new friend, Duke Raulston. Hopefully I'm saying it correctly.
You are saying it correctly.
Awesome. And I love your accent, by the way.
Thank you.
And he's a horror host on Tennessee Macabre. You've been doing this for ages, I guess.
Yes.
And that particular what do you call it? Show is on Tingler, but then you also have it on YouTube and some other places. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into the marketing.
Okay. Well, background. I had a speech and theater scholarship out of college to get into college, rather.
Nice.
And I decided, I read this article in Newsweek about Lee Iacocca, and he had a history degree. And I decided, believe it or not, that I was going to drop the speech and theater major, get a history degree, and become rich and famous.
Why not?
Yeah, didn't quite work out.
Oh, come on. You're famous. You're all over the
I
internet.
am famous. I am famous.
You're super famous.
Yeah. Yep. So years later, after spending years in government work, I decided that I wanted to start a horror hosting show. Because I grew up watching Dr. Shock, which is our local horror host, Elvira, Joe Bob. I love that kind of, I love that kind of stuff.
Everybody loves Joe Bob.
Everybody knows Joe Bob. And so I just started it.
Cool.
And we've been doing it ever since.
You just started. You just woke up one day and said, we're gonna become horror hosts.
Well, I went through a few iterations. I did a show with a guy that was trying to resurrect the local Shock Theater, and I worked with him for a little while. And then Hope, that plays Ravinia, has a show, and we worked on that for a little while. And then Neil and I wanted to strike out on our own.
Right. Neil's your co-host, right?
Neil is my co-host. Now it's kind of an ensemble cast. But for years, it was just me and Neil.
Right. I think I've seen a woman on one of them that I watched recently.
That's Hope.
Okay.
That's Hope.
Cool.
And so now we have Hope.
We got to have a little hope, right?
We got to have a little hope, yeah.
We won't make it.
So we did that. And Neil was sitting there talking to me. He said, yeah, man, my two biggest dreams were to be a horror host, and I've done that. Wow. And my other one was to be a DJ.
Oh.
So I bought him 2 hours of time for Christmas at the local radio station.
Nice.
And it turned into a show called Jukebox from Mars.
Jukebox from Mars?
Jukebox from Mars.
Oh,
and we ran that until the pandemic, ran it as a podcast.
Oh.
And we would play lots of rock and roll, rockabilly, rock and roll, soul, punk, stuff you don't hear on the radio anymore. And a lot of it was deep cuts. It's things that are on the album that maybe know the hit song off the album, but you don't know this cut.
Right.
And
sometimes they're the better ones.
Sometimes they're the better ones. That's right. Yeah. So I'm in the process of reconstituting that show. And what I'm trying to do is to create a podcast radio station.
Oh, so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
You're just amazing. You're so talented.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So quickly, where can people find you, just in case they don't stay till the end?
People can find Tennessee Macabre every Thursday night on Tingler Television at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Cool.
You can also go to Tennessee Macabre at Tennessee Macabre 8865 on YouTube, and we post a lot of our shows on YouTube. We can't post all of our content because some of it's not public domain. And
the movies,
yeah, Tingler has it licensed, but you can find our public domain stuff on our YouTube channel.
So cool.
We occasionally make an appearance on some other streaming stations, but all of our new content is exclusively for Tingler.
And you'll get me the information so I can put it all down here in the description.
I promise you, dear lady, I will email you that information. I am also vice president of Tingler Television, and I do Tingler's marketing.
And that's what we wanted to talk about today.
That's what we want to talk about, yes.
How to market so you have a successful YouTube horror host, show of whatever kind it is that you're working on. So tell us what you're doing.
Okay. First order of business, no matter what kind of show you want to run,
Mhm.
comedy, skit comedy, a music show, a radio show, a television show, you're selling soap. If it's
Right.
going to function, you're selling soap.
Old school.
So you have to understand marketing falls into two categories. One, marketing the show itself. So you need to find viewers for your show, because the more viewers you have, the more advertising you
Of
can sell.
course. Right.
And the second part is to go out and sell advertising.
And now, is this old school where you're like knocking on doors?
I will do anything.
Yeah.
I will pole dance if it will bring money in.
Well, I want to see that one on your next show.
Okay, you asked for it.
I want to see that. You gotta yes, definitely. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
But no, that brings up an interesting point, and we'll come back to marketing the show itself later.
Okay.
But in answer to your question, I cold call.
Yeah. Wow.
I will sit here rumbling through the internet, and if I see a business that I think looks like a prospective candidate, I'll shoot them an email.
Cool.
Just shot one to a con here in Chattanooga. Don't know anybody there. Have not been to the con. Would like to go.
Yeah, I haven't been to that one yet either.
Yeah, but I shot them some information. Said, hey, we're the perfect place to market for you. Now, with cold calls, it's all about percentages. And with cold calls, you're not looking at selling very many of those, but you'll sell some of them.
Mm-hmm. So you may knock on 1,000 doors and sell 2.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And you have to be willing to knock on the 1,000 doors to get the 2 sales.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's also how you make friends and connections, and you can pass out your
right.
card and say, hey, I'm getting this going, and I'd like it if you at least come and watch and be a fan and like and subscribe.
Well, and I'll give you an example. Different con in Chattanooga, Conuga.
What's it again?
Conuga.
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 Nuga.
Nuga.
Okay.
Yeah, Chattanooga.
I get
There's Chattacon and Conuga.
Okay. That's great.
And I get them confused.
I can see why.
I'm not sure which one I've been to.
Okay.
But I was at one of them. Okay.
Well, that's better than none.
That's better than that. I was at one of them, and there was someone there who was had a coffee booth, and this lady gave me a sip of the coffee and was fantastic. And I went over and met the person that actually roasts this coffee is Barry Clark, and I met Barry, and we have over the years become friends. Periodically, she advertises with me either on Tingler Television or Tennessee Macabre or the radio show. When she's able, she advertises with me.
So you need advertisement in all of your different platforms.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And you have to build relationships.
Well, that's the secret to all success, isn't it?
That's the secret to all success. So I met this person who I'd never seen before, who makes fantastic coffee, by the way. And
I would love to try it, but I have a heart thing, so I can't.
Right. She also blends teas.
Ooh, nice. I like tea. Yeah.
So, and some of the teas are black teas, but some of them are herbal teas that have no caffeine whatsoever. So you could try her teas.
Does the people that so the sponsors that you're looking for, do you want your sponsors to have some sort of connection with your show? Like if it's a fitness, you want someone who sells, someone who wants to sell their protein or something like that, or does it really matter?
Well, that is your first tier. Okay. That is where your sweet spot should be. Okay. Does this business have something to do with, for me, it's horror or rock and roll.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So one of my biggest sponsors is Infinity Flux Cards and Comics in Chattanooga.
Okay.
And they have sponsored me. They've sponsored the radio show. They sponsor Tingler Television. So obviously there is an obvious connection there. There's a huge component in the comic book business that are in for horror comics.
Right.
Okay. They also play Jukebox from Mars over their speakers in the store.
Oh, okay.
So, it's kind of it really dovetails there. So
Yeah.
yes, you definitely want to look for people and businesses that are simpatico with
Yes.
what you're doing. Now, having said that, you will occasionally run into somebody. I'll run into somebody that just loves horror.
Yeah.
There's a local laundromat, not laundromat, it's a wash and fold service and ice cream shop, and the man and his wife both love horror. So it's not necessarily something that you would think you would see on a horror network,
Right.
but they advertise with me from time to time.
Right. Well, I mean, a sponsor's a sponsor.
That's right.
And if they know you have 1 million views, they're going to
Hmm.
sell their staplers
Exactly.
no matter what.
Exactly.
Someone's going to buy a stapler, if that's what
Exactly.
they're selling. So it doesn't
Exactly.
really matter. But I can see where having some sort of overlap and connection, because like the tattoo industry, the horror industry, the comic industry,
Hmm.
certain artists,
Gaming,
gaming, music, a lot of music, a lot of rockers in the horror industry,
authors,
rock
yeah.
and roll, and a lot of authors too. Yeah. So I can see where there's a lot of overlap that
Hmm.
you could get multiple uses and be able to reciprocate with each other. Like I can show your stuff and you can do mine or whatever.
Right.
I can see where that would come in, definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And we're working with Stapled Spine, which is a fanzine out of Portland, and they are carrying our advertising, and I advertise for them.
Okay. Oh,
So
well, that's cool.
you
So
can,
you advertise your show
mhm.
as well. So where do
Yes.
you how do you do that?
Well, Jack Rudio's the guy that runs it, and I reached out to him and said, "Man, I love your radio show. I love the Staple Spine fanzine." I said, "I want to be a part of it, and I'm wondering if you would advertise for us because I think it would be really cool if Tennessee Macabre is the most watched horror show in Portland, Oregon." You know,
Cool. Well, why not? Who wouldn't
yeah.
want that?
So, I said, if I'll pay a half page of advertising, create an ad for me and run it, and I'll advertise your stuff. I'll plug your stuff.
So it's a
And so
bargain.
we've done some product placement advertising and some things on our YouTube channel and in our shows to put Staple Spine out there.
Okay. And do you notice a difference? I mean, does it boost your views
Oh,
and your
yes.
likes and all
Yes.
that? It
Yes. Yes.
does
Yes.
significantly or just a little bit?
Nothing. I have never found anything. Okay, let me back up just a moment. Locally, um, we ran in a Facebook online newspaper for Marion County called the Marion County Messenger. And when I ran in that boosted my following on social media. I mean, it like tripled it
In a county newspaper, old school
in a
newspaper.
county. Yes, it's not old school. It's just on Facebook.
Oh, it's on Facebook. Okay, my
It's
bad.
on Facebook. So I actually wound up buying that newspaper 2 years later.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
What a great
So
idea.
so I have kind of my own local advertising cornered. I
Okay.
can, I don't have to pay to advertise locally. I've got the best venue to advertise locally, and I don't have to pay for it.
And that's really smart.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's really brilliant. I love it. That's
Thank you.
great. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Go buy out the local
Buy it
advertising
out.
agents.
And
Buy it
then
out. Be yours.
and then with my local advertisers, not only do I have the best platform to advertise Tennessee Macabre, but my local advertisers, they know if they advertise on Tennessee Macabre, they're advertising in the Marion County Messenger and vice versa.
Okay.
So I'm able to market local advertising that way.
Well, that's really cool. So, I know when I spoke to you about the show that I'm working on, you
Mhm.
mentioning marketing, but I didn't realize you were this in depth.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
okay. So this is like your deal. This is your
Yeah.
baby.
We were sitting, me and my daughter were sitting at a restaurant one time, and the waitress come by, and I'm sitting there eating French fries and a burger or something. I don't know.
Yum.
And I started talking to this lady about advertising. This is a small town business. So, I don't know if she was the owner and knew the owner. And so the whole lunch, every time she comes to the table, I'm trying to talk her into advertising. Daughter looked at me and said, "You're always looking for an opportunity, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, I am."
And that's how you become successful, right? I
That's how
mean,
you
if you
become
just
successful.
you
Yeah,
let these opportunities go by,
that's
then
right.
they're gone.
That's right. The
Right.
worst anybody can tell you is no,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And you might
and
get a lot of no's.
you're going to get a lot of no's,
Yeah.
but you will be surprised where the yeses come from and where these relationships go.
Right. Well, I'm sure it's interesting conversation. It's
Hmm.
funny. You tell them who
Hmm.
you are and what you do, and
Hmm.
then they're like, "Wait a minute, horror hosts,
Hmm.
advertising." This is so strange, but
Yeah.
it makes total sense that they come
Yeah.
together. And you're a
Well,
talkative kind of guy, so I could see where you would be good at going out and
yeah,
cold calling people. So you
I
kind
would
of have
love
to
to.
have a little
Yeah.
bit of personality like that.
And you have to remember the whole horror host genre started so that station managers could add an extra 2 hours on Friday or Saturday night and eke out a few more sales.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, Shock Theater that I talk about, our local, Channel 9 bought the Shock Theater package of movies.
Hmm.
And the station manager, who was named Tommy Lee Reynolds, dressed up in makeup, and they got a puppet named Dingbat,
Oh
and
yeah,
they went out and they sold advertising.
and
They
that
would sell tickets to Six Flags and Lake Winnepesaukah, and
made people want to watch.
made people want to watch. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think it came, I can't remember who was the very, very first, but it became very trendy, like all over the
yeah.
country.
It was ever Vampire out in L.A. was the first, but it
Okay.
became extremely popular. And you have, every city has horror host. The guy, the voice at the beginning of Love Boat,
Hmm.
I don't remember his name, but he started off as a horror host.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
Tim Conway's first gig was going to be as a horror host, and somebody seen the demo and picked him up for Troop 9 or whatever that Army show was that he did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
yeah.
It's follow the money.
Hmm.
All these things started because it's follow the money, make more
Always,
money. Hmm.
always. Yeah.
Yeah, I've met Sammy Terry, but his son, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, and that's that one. How long has that been around? Like 60s, 70s, Sammy Terry?
Yeah. Since the
Yeah.
60s, I believe.
You wouldn't believe
He's
some
one of the.
advertising he's doing now.
Yeah,
He's got his face and logo on beer.
yeah,
Beer. I want mine on
yeah.
beer.
Me too.
I want my
I
face
need a
on
good
beer.
beer supplier. I mean, advertiser.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what other great tips do you have for advertising? Because you got commercials, you've got,
Mhm.
you know, print, you have
Yeah.
internet, you have all
Yeah.
kinds of social media. There's so many different ways to advertise. So how does a person pick if especially if they're on a limited budget, they're just starting their show?
One of the things that I have really been pushing, I have the Marion County Messenger, which reaches 12,000 people locally in a county of 28,000.
Oh,
So we're pushing half the population.
yeah.
Then Tennessee Macabre social media reaches 3,000 people. So what I have been doing is, I run your advertising on the show every Thursday night. In addition, I will run your advertising in the local social media. So, all of my advertisers right now are local. So, when people go to Marion County Messenger, they go to their Facebook, they'll see an advertisement for South Pittsburgh Storage, or
Mm-hmm.
Fade too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I've been pushing. So we kind of dovetail the two together.
So are you only doing horror host? Or are you doing any kind of shows? I mean, what are you specifically marketing yourself that you're handling, the kind of clients that you're handling?
The kind of clients I'm handling right now are local. I've got a local soap maker. I've got South Pittsburgh Storage. I've got Fade. I've got Sue Bob's, which is a restaurant. I've got Red Point, which is a restaurant. So those are the kind of those are the kind of folks that I'm advertising to, or that are buying advertising from.
So they're buying it for your show.
They're buying it for my
Tingler.
show and for Marion County Messenger.
Okay, but what about Tingler? Now you do Tingler's
Tingler,
advertising too, right?
yes, Tingler's a little bit different. These guys are very regional, very local. Red Point, there's no business. Red Point is a pizza store in Jasper. Probably not very beneficial for them to advertise on Tingler. I mean, there's some. Tingler has a huge following in East Tennessee, but Jasper, it's a local restaurant, so they want to be local. Yeah. So what I am looking for Tingler are things in Chattanooga. That Chattanooga has a huge tourist base. A lot of people travel to Chattanooga. Yeah. Chattanooga Ghost Tours just signed on to advertise with Tingler Television.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of a match made in heaven right there.
Yeah.
We've got a local author in Adairsville, Georgia, who does the Trace book series, and she signed on to advertise.
Okay, wonderful. Because you guys have like 1 million subscribers, right?
We have.
Is that what they call them? Subscribers?
We have subscribers to our webpage, but we are, and Tingler Television started off as internet TV. So you went to the webpage and you watched.
Okay.
Now Tingler Television is on Roku. They're on PS2. They're on Fire Stick. They're on Samsung Play. They're about to be listed on Pluto.
Oh my goodness.
And we're working to get a cable channel started.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
Yes. So we're reaching millions of people monthly.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It has, I've been with Tingler now for a little bit over a year, and Tingler has just like mushroomed. I mean, it's just huge.
Well, everybody likes a good scary movie, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Everybody does. Yeah,
right.
We did an event in Chattanooga back in June, and I couldn't tell you how many people walked up to me and said, "I watch you on Tingler Television."
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. After all this work, because you guys have been doing this for a while, so to get full recognition.
Yep, been doing it 8 years.
That's fantastic. So what other good tips? Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Well, I wanted to share a little bit about marketing your show.
Okay.
Because that is a big deal too. So one of the things you need to do is, of course, make good commercials. You want to market on social media. You want to make sure you have social media platforms. Social media, when I first started doing this, our big idea was to make a flyer and put it on telephone poles. Of course, we weren't seen outside of Marion County.
Hey, it probably got you started, right?
It got me started. Yeah. It got me started. But I have progressed in my thinking. We very quickly started advertising on Facebook. And we got on Facebook, and we had, I think, almost 600 followers for years.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there going, what can I do to make this grow? What can I do to make this grow? So I started getting on and going out and finding Facebook groups that were horror based. And I would send them a post and say, "Hey, my name's Duke. I have this show that I do. And would you care if I marketed my show in your Facebook group?" And so I would go out and do that. And that was kind of the second phase.
Yeah. Nice.
And I did that, and it started growing it a little bit. And then I got this idea, these Facebook groups would post content. And I thought, you know what? I need to be posting content. So I would go out and look what happened in horror history. Well, in 1936, Boris Karloff did this movie, and I put that up there. And then maybe the next day was Bela Lugosi's birthday. So I'd put 2 or 3 pictures of Bela Lugosi and, happy birthday, Bela Lugosi, blah, 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 blah. And I would try to make a post every day and hashtag Tennessee Macabre, hashtag everything.
Cool.
And my Facebook following grew from 500 or 600 to 2,000.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, and inexpensively. There you are.
Free, a lot of work, but it was free.
Yeah. Well, everything takes work. I mean, anybody thinks they can have something automatically is teasing themselves.
Right.
Everything takes work.
Yeah.
Well, we have 5 more minutes, unless you want me to start this over and we can keep going. What do you want to do?
I think that's pretty much people don't get exciting about marketing,
Yeah.
And
it's necessary though.
It is necessary. It's the hard work. There's 2 things that I tell people if you're going to do any kind of show. The writing is the fun part. The acting is the fun part.
Yeah.
The camera work is the fun part.
No.
Sometimes
I'm challenged. I'm a little challenged in there.
Me too. The hard part, the work, is editing and marketing.
Yeah.
And be prepared for that.
But if you have someone like yourself who helps other people do it, I mean, it does help to get a guru, a mentor, someone in an area to at least give you some advice, like in this video that you've done today, and I appreciate that. Or reach out to you directly and actually hire you for your services, right?
I am available for hire. I'm available for advice.
Awesome.
Whatever you need.
I love it. So any last words from the horror hosts of Tennessee Macabre? And I know people are like macabre, whatever.
First, last word, macabre. Yeah, and that's lost an earbud. That's the second piece of advice I give. Choose a program name that's easy to spell and pronounce.
There you go. Yeah, it's
because
French,
sometimes
right?
I misspell it. It's French. Sometimes I misspell it. I have to go back and double check.
Macabre.
Yes.
Macabre. Well,
macabre.
If you guys
macabre.
Well, Duke, thank you so much for taking your time out and spending some time with us. I really do appreciate it. If you guys haven't checked it out, and you play the Grim Reaper on the Tennessee Macabre, and Neil, is it Privet?
Neil Privet plays Deke Rivers and Mortimer.
Yeah, and you guys, it's hysterical. If you like some fun old school comedy and a great horror movie, usually classics, you guys have to check it out because you guys are awesome. I love your show, and thank you. And I'll be using you for marketing. So
yes, you will.
Yes, I will. And that's a little bit of hush hush. So if you guys enjoyed the show today and you learned anything about marketing your horror or whatever type of show you're putting on, give us a like. What's this? Smash the like button and subscribe, because there are going to be more great shows like this and wonderful people coming on my show. So again, thank you, Duke. This is Honeygregory, and this is Perpetual Learning, where we're always continuously learning new things so that we grow. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Duke.
Thank you.
See you later.